So what we're talking about today, how many people here know Marty Omoto? Lots of hands. Okay. So Marty, after our significant defeat last year in the legislature, after taking quite a drubbing, Marty basically decided that he wanted the legislators to feel their relationship with us in a more real way, I think is how I would say it. So many of us, and probably everyone in this room, has been in meetings with legislators or with staff people. And, you know, the description that I've seen is that we sit there and talk, and we tell them how unfair it is, and we tell them how, they're balancing the budget on our backs, and, oh my goodness, this is so unfair and so wrong. And what did it get us last year? We got pretty well defeated. Now, obviously, we've saved a little bit of ourselves in the courts. They haven't been able to implement some of the worst things that they proposed and that they passed. All of those people that we were meeting with voted yes. You know, Karen Bass is my legislator. I'm on Karen Bass's health commission. I go to meetings with her staff people and her all the time. Did she do the right thing for us? She did absolutely the wrong thing over and over and over again. She kept the negotiations private. She supported the Big Five process. She told the Democrats to vote for the cuts. So, you know, what does it get me to have that kind of relationship where I say it's unfair, it's unjust? So Marty has this work in progress, I think is what you would call it. It's actually accountability with action is how he's talking about it. And he's been going around this state. Mostly he's been doing this training with with regional centers. So I've been at quite a few of those trainings with him. And so I've tried to create this little synopsis of his process on this piece of paper. And what I'd like you to do is look at it and see if you can tell that there are any differences from what we usually do. I want you to just take a minute to read it over and look at it, and then we'll talk about the process. And then what I'd like to do, and the reason I wanted you to sort of be close to each other as opposed to spread out, is what I'd like to do is do a role play, excuse me, of our old type of meeting, our old type of legislative meeting, and then do the one that Marty's suggesting we do. And let's see what kind of problems we identify. Let's see how it works for you. See if you can feel a difference between the two examples, the two things that you do. So take a look at the process, read it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so why don't we just talk about it a little bit. Do you notice anything different than anything we've ever done in terms of legislative meetings? Does it sound like the same thing we always do, or anything different? Hold on, Joanne.
What I noticed right away is that we're asking them to be responsible to us. And I always felt like we were wasting their time and we had to hurry and we had to be sure we said it just right. And you might get some feedback from them and you might not. This seems much more asking them to talk to you about what they're going to do about it, which I like a lot.
Good. I think that's one thing Marty was aiming for.
Yes, well, I'm Virginia Wilson from San Diego. We backed Marty Block. when he was going to run, for our assembly. And he'd ask us, well, what's your problem? What is this? And we'd give him the answers. And he says, well, I think we can work with that. Everything was, I think we can work with that. But he did the same thing to us. He voted everything against us.
Any other comments on what you see that might be a little different than what we've done in the past?
I'm Cordia Wade. I'm from Sacramento, and I'm new to the advisory committee. But I'm a liaison from the Sacramento County Adult and Aging Commission. And both of the bodies are supposed to be advisory to the Board of Supervisors. And I look at our first line of defense, which is the Board of Supervisors, and so we're looking now at tremendous cuts. I feel a sense, and I know you're asking me to address what I see here, and this is the first time I've been to a SICA conference, but I sense, for me, a sense of conflict. On the one hand, being a member of the County Adult and Aging Commission, and we're focusing, I must admit, primarily on senior issues. And then we are advisory, and I'm reminded all the time that we are advisory, and they were not necessarily advocates. On the other hand, being a liaison from the commission to the IHSS Advisory Committee, and I can see that they are more advocacy, and they're the ones from our county that are a member of SICA. So what I'm saying is I feel a sense of wearing two hats. And I might also say that I'm part of the Senior Alliance under the the Department of, or the School of Public Health at the University of California at Berkeley. And we are, and again, we have formed a group, and we are more advocates than we are advisory. So my point is here, what I see here is advocacy. It is action. And I do agree with you that a number of our elected officials, and in one of my other lives, as I used to tell my students, that I did work for the legislature, and I see that that our elected officials seem to disregard the need that the communities have of social services, and they are primarily listening to someone else. Now, and so when we're asking them to be accountable and to be, then are they listening as much to us as an organization? And I can say as a member of SICA, and I'm just a fairly new member of SICA, are they listening to us when we have less money to give them? And of course, if we recognize in that court decision that allows the corporate interests to spend more money on campaigns, will our voices be weakened, regardless of what we do? So anyway, that's my question. How do you do it when you're wearing two hats, one of advocacy and one of advisory?
Very good, and I think that's something we should all keep in mind, and I think that one of the things that Marty really hammers home when he does this is for us to go into the legislator as an individual, and part of the basis for his thinking on this is the IEP interactions that parents and their kids have with the school system.